Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Or if you are new here, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you're joining me today, coming to this video. My name is Mallory of Mal's Fit Kitchen. I'm a future dietitian that shares stuff about eating disorders, bloating, gut health, just getting real about nutrition and wellness, because there's so much noise out there nowadays that it's so hard to sift through what's actually true and what's not. And I just want to be there for anybody out there that's struggling to figure out really what is true through all that information. So today I'm coming to you live with me and Mr. Otis. Let's see. So if you do see him coming up, or like you hear me like letting out a little yelp, it's probably because he's coming to attack me, but hopefully we'll get through it. So something that's been on my mind a lot today is bloating, and specifically bloating during eating disorder recovery. If you're new here, you may not know that I'm someone that has struggled through an eating disorder. I share my full story and I'll link that up here and then also down below if you want to check that out. But a lot of people in my community at Mal's Fit Kitchen have also struggled through bloating, eating disorders, disordered eating, fitness obsession, something of that nature. And I really want to make that a supportive community, and I want to bring that community over onto YouTube as well so that we can open up this conversation. And the thing about eating disorders and bloating is that a lot of people don't talk about it. So we're all going through this alone, and we're all silently struggling, and yet we feel like we're the only ones. And it wasn't until I started to open up this conversation on my Instagram where I started to realize, okay, whoa, this is not just me. Other people out there are dealing with these same repercussions after their eating disorder, and no one is talking about it. And I do want to mention that if you didn't struggle through an eating disorder, it doesn't mean that you can't go through these same issues. Even extreme dieting or just other kinds of calorie restriction can also lead to this, even if you don't characterize yourself by an eating disorder or by severe disordered eating. So in this video today, I want to talk about bloating during recovery, why it may be happening, and why people are not talking about it. I also want to talk about some reasons why you may be bloating in your recovery that aren't just recovery related, and then I want to touch on some ways that we can actually help to alleviate this bloating, some techniques that I've used, and then briefly at the end I want to touch on my story, because if you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I did a little poll asking if people wanted to know a little bit more about my bloating journey, and a lot of people answered yes. But I want to be able to give you guys the meat of the tips and the explaining about bloating during recovery before I put my story in. So if you want to see that, that's at the end, and maybe that will help you feel less alone, help you relate. Just know that I am here with you and for you throughout this whole process. Okay, so to begin, this is why a lot of people don't talk about bloating during eating disorder recovery. It's not exactly explained. Now, when you think about it, it does make sense. So you've been basically restricting the food that goes into your body, maybe in the form of calories, maybe in the form of the types of food, maybe you're putting it all in there, but then also throwing it up. Whatever your disorder may have been, those are all things that are affecting our gut. So all the bacteria in our gut, you may have heard that the gut is like our second brain even. And that can all really be affected when we alter the amount of foods we're eating and alter our mindset around the foods that we're eating. There's such a big connection between our brain and our gut. So even if we're eating something similar to someone else, our stress or our worries around that food is going to affect how it digests. So when we start to basically reintroduce foods or reintroduce calories during our recovery process, our body still has to respond and figure out how to handle that, because we are putting it under a period of stress, starvation possibly, and now our body's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, thank goodness I'm getting these back, I need to hold on to these nutrients, because they don't know when that's going to happen again, because it takes time before your mind and body still communicate that you're on the same page. During that time when we aren't feeding our bodies properly, our digestive system really slows down. So then when we reintroduce those foods, our metabolism, our body is like, whoa, what's this? And so it takes a second for it to understand, and that's what can lead to that bloating in our stomach region. And I know it's uncomfortable, But it is so important to know that there are some reasons. And even if it's not specific, if the science isn't perfect, I hope that that can give you some peace of mind as an explanation as to why that could be happening. So to provide a little bit of comparison, I'm going to show you my body now. I am probably over a year into really building my recovery up. So I kind of went through a long recovery process because of the nature of my eating disorder, but this is what my body is looking like now. Okay, so this is me right now. I'm not bloated, just wearing some jeans, and you can see that it's like, these are comfortable jeans too. So I'm gonna put in a comparison picture next to that so you guys can see how much my body will change when I am bloated. It is important to know though that the only reason for your bloating may not just be from going through recovery. There's a lot of reasons why bloating can happen. It's honestly so crazy how many reasons. I actually created an entire free ebook just about bloating, the reasons why it can happen, exercises you can do to help it, and also products that I use when bloating is happening and I need to alleviate it, because there's just so much to know about it. So I don't want to just limit bloating into, oh, it's only because of your recovery. Some of the main reasons why this could be happening are there could be something more serious going on, like SIBO, IBS, any of those kind of things. So it's always important to get that checked. But I don't think those are the most common, actually. The biggest reason I've seen is because of stress, which the crazy thing is when we're going through recovery, most of the time we're super stressed out. It's that mental game that I know you understand, where you're trying to allow yourself to eat that food and not think about it, but yet it's so freaking hard. Like, recovery is one of the most challenging things I have ever gone through. And just that mental game of wanting to be better and wanting to be healthy, but also still being terrified of those foods. You know what I'm saying? So even that stress can contribute to your bloating. And that's something that I talk about, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but I have some techniques to help that. But there also can just be things such as food intolerance that can cause it, not getting enough sleep, having issues in the bathroom just from going through new changes, and so many more things. If you want to learn even more, I'll link the ebook down below so you can check it out, and it literally explains all the reasons as to why and an explanation of what that may feel like. So just remember that it's not always just because of your recovery. So don't think that recovering is making you bloat. Everything about your body is going to be making that happen. But the only thing that helps the bloating and helps it to go away is just keep pushing through. I know it's so hard, but you can do it. The more that you push your body in terms of eating foods that fuel you, eating what feels good, really giving your body what it needs, that is what's going to, in the end, stop your bloating. And trust me, I know that you're probably thinking, Mallory, no, it's not, okay? It's not gonna help me. But girl, okay, I wanna talk to you like a friend. Honestly, I swear to you, it will help. Last year in January, during the midst of my recovery, had never been in so much pain. I was constantly bloated for 2 months. I couldn't figure out what it was. I thought it was these food intolerances. I thought it was all these things. And in the end, I figured out that it was literally my stress and my journey through recovery that was causing it all. And I'm so happy to say that now I went from being constantly bloated every single day to occasionally bloated. It's never going to be perfect, but I swear just taking little steps is the perfect step in the right direction. And I have been in your shoes. If you're struggling with this, do not feel like you are alone. Do not feel like no one else is going through this. I swear it will get better. Got the goods. Okay, so now I want to share with you guys some of the things that have helped me, both products and also exercises that I've implemented to my life that have actually made a difference. There's so much BS out there about it, but seriously, these are the ones that I've researched, I've looked up, that have actually been helping me out. The first thing I want to mention is just the things that you can do to reduce your stress in your life and also around eating. So for me, this was actually reducing distractions around my meal times, just taking a break, not looking at my phone, not watching as many videos, all of that. But I also know some people that they need to not even think about the food, so they like to eat with their friends, watch a positive YouTube video, read a book, something like that. So maybe test those two out, see what works for you. But whenever I sit down to eat a meal, I always do my breathing exercises. So I'll just close my eyes and I'll just go. 4 in, 4 at the top, 4 out. Just do that as many times as you need to really calm yourself down. That's going to take you out of fight or flight mode and stimulate your non-fight muscle, and that includes your digestive system. So that has really helped me with being able to deal with my food a lot better. There's also just meditation, there's yoga, there's physical activity that doesn't have to be working out. There's reducing the amount of tight clothing you wear. As you saw, my jeans are pretty loose. Just taking out all the little things in your life that can agitate your stomach and agitate your bloating. Try not to focus on reducing the food you eat, figuring out the food intolerances, all of that kind of stuff. Because for you, as someone going through recovery, I do not think that's the most important thing. I actually think that's what you need to stop focusing on as much in order to prevent your bloating. Do you know what I'm saying? So in terms of products, here's some that I love. I don't like to think of these as a cure to bloating. What I like to think of them as is that little savior guy that comes in when you're already bloated and you need some relief. So I really love charcoal. I hope you guys can see this. I'm not very good at this whole YouTuber thing. So this is charcoal. I take this when I'm bloated. It's the Nature's Way brand. It's pretty inexpensive. This seems to help a lot. This is a new product I've used. And if you take it before your meals, even after your meals, I definitely find that that helps me a lot. Terrazyme or any digestive enzyme with good ingredients is a really great purchase as well. Why can I never do this? Guys, help. There we go, yes. Terrazyme is great. These are digestive enzymes that help to stimulate those things that are in your stomach when your digestive system may not be excreting as many of them as usual, so that can be really helpful. I also love aloe vera so much. I take this consistently. This is a stomach formula. This is their stomach formula from Lily of the Desert, which I love, but it's a little expensive, so you could also just get their big bottle. Camera died, but we're back. As I was saying, the bottle is great too, a lot more cost effective than the little shots or the other ones, but I love like sticking those in my purse when I go out to eat or somewhere. The other stuff I have that I'm now sitting on is tea. These are two I like. This is the Yogi Stomach Ease tea. This is the Puka Herbs After Dinner tea. There's lots of great teas. These are just some I like. I love having these when I'm just feeling a little bit uncomfortable and I feel like I need a little bit of assistance digesting my meal or even just winding down for the day. And then the last thing I have is peppermint. This is doTERRA peppermint. I can never do this. There we go. This is doTERRA peppermint. They also have Digestin. I can rub this on my stomach, and if you have a really good brand, which some people don't want to do, but you can also take this orally, so I really like that, but obviously do what works for you. It always helps me when I rub it on my stomach as well. So those are just a few that I use. There's so many things out there, but these are the ones that I've found that have the most research behind them, and I have personally found work the best for me. But as I've said, everybody is so different, and just remember that those are just supplemental tools you can use. They will not be the fix to your bloating, but I also have more of those like fixes in my ebook as well. So if you do not want to watch my story part of this video, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really hope that this helped open your eyes a little bit, that you are not alone if you are struggling with bloating during your recovery. You are not alone if you struggle with bloating in general, and don't get down about it. You're doing the right thing by continuing to fuel your body, introduce foods, and just because you are bloating, it does not mean you gain weight. It does not mean your recovery is going south. It means that you are doing everything right, and you just need to keep going. I hope that these little tips and tricks also helped you. If you want to reach out to me for support, let me know, because I am always here. So if you did like it already, definitely hit that like button, hit subscribe. If you want to continue to watch my story, stay tuned. That's why I got comfy. Just have a little girls chat, you know, or guys chat if you're there. But okay, Otis, this is killing the vibe of my video, Otis. He wants the tea too. He's bloated. Okay, so I can't hold that while I'm sitting there. That's like awkward. Is this a weird position? I think so. So bloating, my story. So I know that for me, sometimes I feel a lot less alone when people share their personal story because I feel like I can relate to them. So if that's you, then I hope that this helps. Otis wants to come cuddle. So I was pretty good with my digestion up until probably my senior year of high school, which coincidentally was actually the same time where I really started to dive fully into kind of my orthorexia. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. So then going into my freshman year of college, that's when I went to the most extreme with my eating. So I found that although I was at my skinniest or my fittest, I was still struggling the most because every single time I would have one thing that was not my normal, my stomach would turn into literally a balloon and I would be in so much pain and I could not figure out why at the time. So I continually just let that happen, which I'm not sure why. And it really wasn't until almost all the way through my disordered eating up until like my junior and senior year that I started to realize there was a problem. Because my senior year, when I finally decided that I wanted to fully try to recover, that's when I started having the worst issues. And I was so confused because I was like, wait, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing all the stuff that I didn't want to do for years. And yet now all of those eating disorder problems have been replaced with constant bloating and pain. And I actually got super skinny. If you have watched my video, you know I had orthorexia and fitness obsession. So it's a little bit different for me, but I actually lost a lot of weight and it was not healthy. I didn't look good at all. I really was struggling because I didn't want to eat food because every time I ate, I was in pain. So at that time, I started to think of all the reasons why it could be. I tried to think about food intolerances and I thought that everything I was eating was wrong and all of this stuff. And I really just overcomplicated it. I bought all these expensive supplements. I looked up all these things and in truth, none of those things were appropriate for me. And that's why I wanted to create this video because I wish there were more people talking about bloating during recovery because I didn't feel like I could find any information on this at the time. Coming out of that, I finally started to realize that most of my bloating was due to stress. Stress around eating, stress from life, stress around fear foods. And what I had to do was I had to really tackle that stress head on with some of the things that I said. I started meditating, I started doing yoga, I really started implementing in things into my life that made me happy and helped me to stop focusing so much on my body and so much on what I was eating. So with that, I started to finally get some improvements. I wasn't bloated all of the time, but I was still bloated. I found out later that I was sensitive to gluten, dairy, pork, and tomatoes. I know that's a kind of a weird combination. I did that through the help of a naturopath, a natural chiropractor, and some other basically natural healers in the space that helped to guide me that way. And that's really been helpful for me as well, but I don't think that's the first thing you need to look to. So that brought it to the next step of actually having less and less issues and less bloating. And then for me, it's gone on and off. So I'll have some weeks where I have terrible bloating, terrible pain, and it's hard to know why, but most of the time it's due to stress for me. So when I find really stressful areas of my life, that's when I start to bloat. And during all the times where I feel bloated, I use those products to help me out. I try to calm myself down and reduce that stress as much as I can. And I try to go to supportive videos, to supportive friends, to supportive people in my life, just that make me happy, and maybe even fall back on some of the things that I know help to reduce my bloating. You know what I'm saying? Like those meals that you know your body always loves from you instead of those ones that are hard. And I don't know. I hope that you enjoyed this little story. I could probably have gone more into it, but I didn't want to make this video 100 years long. And I just appreciate you guys and love you so much for even watching this. And I hope that it really was helpful. I'm always here for you guys. I'm super active at answering my DMs on Instagram at Mal's Fit Kitchen, but I will also answer any of the comments you have below if you're comfortable putting them in a public space. If you did like this video, again, I would appreciate it so much if you gave it a thumbs up because it will really support my channel, but also just support spreading this message to more girls or guys out there that need it. And if you do have a video idea that you have in mind, something you want to see from me, definitely drop it down below as well because I want to create videos that you guys want to see that are actually helpful. So I always try to create this from things and questions I get in my DMs and also that I see online on other similar accounts to mine. And yeah, if you want to see all that, definitely hit subscribe because I'm uploading every Sunday and I just love having this community with all of you. It's so special. You guys are so special. You're my friends, you're my fam. I love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. Otis thanks you too as he snuggles in. And I hope that soon I will see you back here and that we don't have any bloating this week, girl, because we don't need it, okay? We got it, okay? All right, I don't know why, I always like ruin the video with a weird thing at the end, but all right, I'll talk to you guys later, bye.